255 pounds. 7 years old. Read that again. 7 years old. 255 pounds. And according to the man who has prosecuted crime in Genesee County, Michigan for 22 years, a man who has seen things most people will never see in a lifetime, nothing in his entire career had ever prepared him for what was inside that house. Not one thing. That is where this story begins. Not with the arrest. Not with the charges. Not with the headlines that stopped people mid-scroll across the entire country. It begins inside a house on Dania Street in Flint Township, Michigan, on the morning of November 4, 2025. And what was found inside those walls is something that officers who responded that day said they could not accurately describe in words. They tried. And they failed. Because some things exist beyond the reach of language. But we are going to try anyway. Because a 7-year-old boy named Casper O'Brien deserves more than a headline. He deserves the truth. All of it. If this channel is new to you, you are exactly where you need to be. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications. At Darkness of Beneath Crimes, we go deeper than the headline. Deeper than the report. Deeper than anyone else is willing to go. Subscribe now and stay with me. Because this story is only just beginning. Flint Township police were called to a home on Dania Street on the morning of November 4th for a report of a pediatric cardiac arrest. A child. Not breathing. His mother told police she had found him unresponsive. Paramedics attempted life-saving measures inside the home but had to move him to an ambulance because there was not enough space inside. He was taken to the hospital within 10 minutes of the 911 call. Think about that detail for a moment. Not enough space. In a home where a child lived. Casper was taken to Hurley Medical Center, where he died a short time later. He never came home. Now here is the detail that changes the entire shape of this story. Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton said he did not believe anybody from the school district, Child Protective Services, the police, anybody in the government, even knew these children existed. Read that again slowly. Nobody knew they existed. Not the school. Not the doctors. Not the social workers. Not a single person in government whose entire job is to protect children like Casper. As Layton himself put it, none of these kids even existed in the eyes of the government. They were invisible. Hidden. Completely cut off from the world. And one of them was dead before anyone could do anything about it. His name was Casper O'Brien. He was 7 years old. He was 50.5 inches tall and weighed 255 pounds when he died. At the time of his death, his BMI was 71.7. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's growth charts show the typical BMI for a boy his age is about 16. The healthy weight for a boy his height, according to the CDC, between 50 and 73 pounds. Casper weighed 255. Not 73. Not 100. Not even 150. 255 pounds. His obituary, posted by Sharp Funeral Homes, remembered him as a bright, loving boy whose joyful spirit touched those around him. That obituary was written by his parents. The same parents who are now sitting in Genesee County Jail charged with his murder. Let us go back to that morning. Let us go inside that house. The officer who responded observed extreme hoarding and deplorable living conditions, including no working toilet, filth, and soiled diapers in their living space. No working toilet. In a home where 2 children lived. The family appeared to be living in extreme hoarding conditions with wall-to-wall trash and insects throughout the 3-bedroom home, according to police officer accounts. The affidavit states there was a large amount of feces reported throughout the house. One responding officer wrote in the official 16-page police report that the conditions were absolutely disgusting and simply could not be accurately described in words. Another officer said that upon entering through the front door, the living room was completely covered in trash, including numerous stacked garbage bags. A third officer documented the smell. Overbearing, foul, and insects, not in one room, throughout the entirety of the residence. These 5 officers went into that house trained to hold it together. Every single one of them struggled to find words. The paramedics went in to try to revive the child, and police reported they could not even go inside because there was not any additional room. Not enough room for police officers. In a home where Casper spent every single day. Where was Casper inside all of this? He was described by police as extremely obese, visibly dirty, and wearing a soiled diaper. He was unresponsive. He was 7 years old, and he had not seen a doctor in over a year. Casper died of dilated cardiomyopathy, a form of heart disease in which the chambers of the heart become enlarged and too weak to pump blood efficiently. The disease is often associated with severe obesity, defined by a body mass index of 40 or higher. Casper's BMI was 71.7. His heart was not built to carry what it was forced to carry. It stretched. It strained. It weakened. And then it stopped. A 7-year-old boy's heart simply gave out. And that is not where the horror ends. That is where it begins. Because when investigators examined Casper's body at the hospital, what they documented was not just evidence of obesity. It was evidence of prolonged, sustained, ongoing suffering. Police reported poor hygiene, a strong odor, and what they described as some of the worst open sores and rashes they had ever seen when examining Casper's body, with a possible infection suspected. Some of the worst they had ever seen. These were career law enforcement officers, people who have worked death scenes, neglect cases, abuse cases, and Casper's body stopped them. His hair had begun to dreadlock in multiple areas, indicating it had not been brushed in a very long time. His fingernails were long, uncut, caked with filth. His skin folds showed open infected wounds with redness and swelling. His diaper was soiled with dry feces and urine. And beneath that diaper, investigators found deep, infected rashes and open wounds covering the backs of his legs, his thighs, and his buttocks. These injuries do not appear in 24 hours. They do not appear in a week. These are the result of weeks, possibly months, of no cleaning, no bathing, no treatment, no intervention. And this is the part that takes the air out of the room. Jessica O'Brien told police she suspected the boy had autism and said he was nonverbal. He could not ask for help. He could not say the word pain. He could not walk to a neighbor. He could not reach a phone. He could not do anything except exist inside that house and feel everything that was happening to his body. Layton said Casper O'Brien was bedridden and never went to school. Investigators believe neither child attended school or was known to teachers, doctors, or social workers. No teacher ever saw him. No school counselor ever flagged a concern. No mandated reporter ever made a call. Because he was never there. Casper's world was the inside of that house. That house with no working toilet. Wall-to-wall trash. Insects in every room. And open infected wounds that had been left untreated until his body collapsed. Now we get to the last time Casper saw any medical professional at all. Casper last saw his primary care provider in February of 2024, according to the autopsy report, when he was diagnosed with a cough, congestion, and metabolic disease. At that visit, he weighed 104 pounds. And his mother was given information on a healthy diet and exercise. He was also referred to a pediatric endocrinologist, but the boy never saw one. February 2024. He weighed 104 pounds. He was already being referred to a specialist. His mother was given written guidance on diet and health. And then nothing happened. no specialist visit, no follow-up appointment, no return to a pediatrician. Between February 2024 and November 4, 2025, Casper gained 151 pounds. 151 pounds. In approximately 9 months. With a referral sitting somewhere that was never followed up on. And a mother who told police that the reason she did not take her son to a doctor was inconvenience. She did not like waiting rooms. That is the reason that was given for a nonverbal 7-year-old child not receiving medical care for over a year while gaining 151 pounds and developing infected open wounds across his body. Inconvenience. But wait, because here is where this story gets even harder to sit with. According to criminal complaints, the parents failed to take Casper for treatment even though the family had health care. Investigators say both parents were employed and had health insurance for the family. The copay on that insurance plan, according to police records, was $20. $20. That is what a single doctor visit for Casper would have cost. Both parents regularly attended their own medical appointments. Both were receiving prescription medication for their own conditions. Their health was being managed. Their needs were being met. And Casper's $20 copay was never spent. Not once. In over a year. And then there is the detail that Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton brought up in his public statement. The detail that he said made no sense to him at all. He said they knew enough to call the veterinarian the very morning the child went into cardiac arrest because the dog was sick. But yet they did not take the kids to the doctor. It did not make any sense to him. Let that land. The morning Casper stopped breathing, that same morning, his mother had gotten up to make a veterinarian appointment. For the dog. The dog had a health issue. She made the call immediately. Her son had not seen a doctor in over a year. Her son had infected open wounds across his body. Her son weighed 255 pounds at the age of 7. And the dog got the phone call. You are watching Darkness of Beneath Crimes, the channel that goes further than any headline ever will. If you are not yet subscribed, right now is the moment. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. Like this video so that Casper's story reaches every single person it needs to reach. We do not stop. We do not look away. And neither should you. Casper was not the only child in that house. The abuse charges also relate to Casper's 5-year-old sister. Police found her naked inside the home. Doctors described her as morbidly overweight, weighing 130 pounds, with poor hygiene and a significant cough. She was 5 years old. She weighed 130 pounds. Officers found her wandering outside without clothing, also severely overweight, dirty, and with matted hair. The prosecutor described her as being like a feral child. She is now in the care of Child Protective Services. She had never been to school either. Nobody knew she existed either. 2 children. Both invisible. Both suffering. One of them did not make it out. And then there is the detail about the landlord that tells you everything about how completely these children were hidden from the world. The landlord had grown worried as the rented property fell into disrepair, but the couple left the rent on the porch and refused to let him inside. Even the person who owned the building was kept out. The rent appeared on the porch like clockwork, but the door never opened, and nobody looked inside until November 4, 2025. Now let us talk about the investigation and the charges. Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton charged 40-year-old Damien O'Brien and his wife, 41-year-old Jessica O'Brien, with second-degree murder following the death of their 7-year-old son Casper. Not child abuse. Not criminal neglect. Murder. Damien O'Brien, 40, and Jessica O'Brien, 41, are each charged with 1 count of second-degree murder, 1 count of torture, and 3 counts of second-degree child abuse. Torture. That word appears in those charges for a reason. Under Michigan law, the second-degree murder and torture counts each carry a maximum of life in prison, while each second-degree child abuse count can bring up to 10 years. Layton stated this was a sad and horrific case involving the wanton and willful neglect by two parents for the care, welfare, and medical needs of their son. He said their neglect led to their child suffering severe bed sores, various rashes, and other physical health disorders, including extreme morbid obesity that ultimately led to his early death. 1. And willful. Not an accident. Not an oversight. Not a family overwhelmed by circumstances beyond their control. 1. And willful. That is what the prosecution is going to argue. And the evidence they have assembled to support it is 400 pages deep. When investigators went to arrest Damien O'Brien, he said nothing. He asked for a lawyer immediately. Jessica O'Brien did speak. And during that interrogation, when investigators showed her photographs of Casper's body and the condition of his wounds, her story changed. Multiple times. First, she said the sores had only been there for a couple of days. Then she said perhaps a month. Then she said she had no idea the sores even existed. 3 different answers to the same question, about wounds that medical professionals said could not have developed overnight. When an investigator looked her directly in the eyes and asked, "Did you ever stop and think about how much pain Casper was in?" she replied, in documented words, "No. And I probably should have." Then she said, "I was so in my depression that it just..." And she did not finish the sentence. She did not finish it. Her son was in agony for months. And her answer for why she did not know was that she was too consumed by her own pain to see his. During police interviews, Jessica and Damien O'Brien told investigators they suffered from mental health issues. Both parents pleaded not guilty. Chief Judge Mark McCabe ordered that they undergo competency and criminal responsibility evaluations. A review is scheduled for September 9th. The judge also denied a request from both attorneys for bond. They are not going anywhere. There are over 400 pages of medical records in this case. 400 pages. And Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton, the man with 22 years in that office, said publicly that it is a very, very sad and tragic situation, and that he thought he had seen it all but had never seen anything quite like this. Now I want you to sit with this question, not because it has an easy answer, but because it is the question this entire case rests on. How does this happen? How does a 7-year-old boy go from 104 pounds to 255 pounds in 9 months with no doctor, no school, no outside intervention? How does a child's body deteriorate to the point where trained law enforcement officers, people who have seen the worst of what human beings do to each other, cannot find the words to describe what they witnessed? How does a house fall so far that the floor cannot be seen beneath the trash? How do 2 children disappear so completely that not one person in government even knows their names? The prosecutor has an answer. In his written statement, Layton called it a sad and horrific case involving the wanton and willful neglect of the boy's care and medical needs. 1. And willful. Not by accident. Not by poverty. Not by circumstance. This family had health insurance. This family had income. This family had a $20 copay they never spent on Casper. Not once. The system failed Casper. But it was helped along. It was helped along by a door that never opened to the landlord. By a school enrollment that never happened. By a specialist referral that was never followed. By a doctor who was visited by the parents but not by the child. By a choice, made again and again and again, to leave a nonverbal 7-year-old boy alone in a room inside that house, in pain he could not speak about, in a body that was destroying itself from the inside out. Casper O'Brien's obituary called him a bright and loving boy whose joyful spirit touched everyone around him. We will never know what his voice sounded like, because he never had one. We will never know what he would have become, because he never got the chance. At the time of his death, Casper was 4 feet 2 inches tall. He weighed 255 pounds. His BMI was 71.7. He died of heart failure on November 4, 2025, in Flint Township, Michigan. He was 7 years old, and the world did not find out he was gone until the charges came down 7 months later. His name was Casper O'Brien. Say it, remember it, because he deserved so much more than what he was given. Damien and Jessica O'Brien are presumed innocent under the law until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Their competency review is scheduled for September 9, 2026. This channel will follow every development in this case as it unfolds. If this story reached inside you, if Casper's name means something to you now that it did not 20 minutes ago, then do something with that feeling. Like this video, share it, leave his name in the comments below. And if you are not yet a part of this channel, subscribe to Darkness of Beneath Crimes right now. Every story we bring you is one that deserves to be told. Every victim we cover deserves to be remembered. We will keep going. We will keep digging. And we will never look away. We will see you on the next one.